So what does strophanthus seed wabaine do? So it has three basic effects. The first is it supports the parasympathetic nervous system. In other words, it's considered a parasympathetic nervous system tonic. And so the studies with heart rate variability, where you can measure the strength and the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system, clearly show a supportive effect on parasympathetic nervous system function. So that's activity number one, which of course it goes directly back into the cause, because one of the main causes of these heart disease in the first place is decreased parasympathetic activity, which is basically what we call stress, or people who don't connect with nature, or people who don't eat good food, or people who don't exercise. And decreased parasympathetic activity comes from cigarette smoking, inactivity, poor diet, poor activity, psychological, emotional stress, all the things that we know that cause disease. So strophanthus seed extract directly affects that. The second thing that strophanthus seed extract / wabaine does is it shrinks and makes the red blood cells and platelets more flexible. So if you could imagine, the thing that determines the flow through the capillaries, we have these capillaries and we have red blood cells, which are approximately the size of the internal diameter of the capillary. So in order for them to make a smooth passage through the capillaries, they have to be soft and flexible, and strophanthus helps with that. It makes them a little smaller and a little more flexible, and so the microcirculation is improved. So that directly affects systemic disease number two, which is a decreased blood flow through the microcirculation. So now we have better parasympathetic flow, and we have increased capillary function, more blood flow through the actual part of the heart where the blood is flowing. And the third and the most important, which has been demonstrated in a number of studies, there's a bunch of research papers. If you go to PubMed, you can find hundreds of articles on wabaine and heart disease, wabaine and cancer, etc. But we now know that wabaine converts lactic acid, which is the central poison in this drama, into a nutrient called pyruvate, which then is a nutrient used in respiration. So the very poison that makes the muscle paralyzed and causes pain and causes necrosis of the tissue is actually broken down or converted into an important nutrient to be used by the heart tissue for fuel. And so that is the basis of its activity for stopping this sequence of events that leads to heart attacks. And so that's the exact rationale for its approximately 100 years of use as a cardiotonic, meaning a medicine that supports heart function, by increasing parasympathetic tone, increasing capillary blood flow, small vessel blood flow, and by getting rid of the lactic acid. So that's its rationale for use. And it's been in basically safe use for 100 years. It was the main medicine used in Germany for many years. They even had what they call the Strophantine challenge test. So if you went to your family doctor and you said you had chest pain, they would give you some strophanthus seed extract. And if the chest pain went away, that essentially proved that the chest pain was coming from your heart, not from something else. So the main indications, at least up until now, have been angina, unstable angina, prevention of heart attacks, even in use IV for the acute treatment of heart attacks, stroke prevention, and high blood pressure. Anytime that the heart is not functioning properly, you can use strophanthus seed as a gift from paradise to support the heart function. I only want to also point out that it's not an anti-arrhythmic, So it doesn't stop, say, atrial fib or SVT or some specific rhythm disturbance. Although I have seen people who are in intermittent AFib, which means they go in and out, that it lessens the events and makes them less severe. So it can be safely used for that, but it doesn't convert AFib into normal rhythm or any other rhythm that I know of.